So for default parameter values, parameters allow a function to remain flexible, but often there's a value you want to use most of the time. For example, you might drink water with nearly all your meals, but every now and then you have a glass of orange juice instead. As part of the function definition, you can provide a default value for any parameter. This way, you can call the function with or without the parameter. If the parameter is unspecified, the function simply uses the default value. So what this is saying is that when you make a function, you have your parameters inside the parentheses here. Here is one parameter. Here is the second parameter. Normally, you don't set the parameter equal to anything. But in this case, we set a parameter, this one, score, equal to 0. So what this normally does, or what this does, is I'm going to call the display function and see, I'll click this one. Whenever you call a function, it has you fill in the arguments. Here's the first argument for this one, and here's the argument for the second parameter. So you don't have to write in the argument here. You can leave it blank or just delete this and you won't get flagged, because it'll make it automatically since you set this equal to 0. But you will have to add a value for this argument because we didn't set it equal to anything. So I'll say it has to be a string, so we'll make it a string literal. Now you don't get flagged. And if we print this, or let's run this, you still get example and it still gives you score, even though you didn't specify it. Just like up here, this was the example they gave. I'll delete this. This is the example they gave, that you don't have to specify the argument because you set it equal to something. You can specify it and then it will display what you specified. Here they specified score. They specified the string, wombats, and they specified the score, 100, and it prints that. But even if they didn't specify, like here, it would still print out something to the console. In this case, 0, because we set it equal to 0. Now, what would happen if we deleted this? We didn't set this second parameter equal to anything. You get flagged. Missing argument for parameter score and call. It wants you to add an argument. But then we can't get 0. We wanted 0 because the team score could be 0 at some point. But that's how to fix that if you get flagged. So we'll change this back to equal something. It doesn't have to be 0, but if we set it equal to something, it'll print out automatically. We could print this, or we could set this equal to 60. We could set it equal to 60. Oh, let's delete this empty function. run, and it comes out. That's the default. So if I remove this, it's gonna print out 60 because that's the default. But 0 would be better because it's like a default score. Like when you first start a game, everyone starts at 0.